Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact. Hi, and welcome to the show. I'm excited to have you join me for today's episode because we're diving into a topic that I believe and know resonates deeply with many high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders out there. We're talking about hyperachievement and its intertwined connection to our inner sense of validation and self-worth. And so let me ask you, do you ever feel like you're constantly, checking off tasks on your list, hitting performance indicators, or measuring your success through numbers, right? But something inside still feels, empty, incomplete, or missing. And you're doing your best, right? Doing well even. But you just feel exhausted and disconnected with it all. You find that with everything you have, you just don't feel the amount of happiness and fulfillment you feel you should be. You may be on this journey for a while and even have the awareness, a part of you has fleeting moments knowing that you're driven by this external validation, recognition, and you're doing the best with what you know, but it's just not moving the needle. And you're just tired of maintaining the status quo. You're not really authentic and really being happy on the inside. And if authenticity is your value, that doesn't feel very good. Today, we're exploring what are some of the key mindset, characteristics, and thoughts of a hyperachiever, and even some of the justifications and even lies the ego mind may be telling us that keep us replaying the cycle. We will be also exploring how the drive to achieve might be coming from a deeper place that we often mask and turn away from, and how being aware and taking some of the steps I'll be sharing with you at the end can begin to make all the difference. So be sure to stay tuned to the end. I will also be highlighting this through the lens of energetics and how to step into your authentic energetic leadership from this place. I'm excited to share my insights on how to really navigate this journey with authenticity and self-compassion, where you can create the impact you want without leaving yourself and this deeper sense of happiness and fulfillment behind. So whether you're aiming for greater impact, seeking more meaningful connection or recognition, or just trying to understand why you feel compelled to achieve, this episode is for you. So let's dive in and explore how you can achieve greatness while staying true to yourself and nurturing that inner sense of fulfillment. And I also want to start by saying that if, hearing of this, there's a voice inside your head that's telling you that, oh, I don't have this challenge anymore, that you're in a better place with it now, or you felt a charge or a body sensation come up, right? I invite you to keep on listening. This is how the mind can keep you in a similar cycle where the mind feels it is safe to stay. And with self-leadership, right, our expansion is often beyond the realms of feeling safe. All the places our ego mind likes, right? And if we are not conscious and stay with the familiar thoughts and behaviors, the same cycle repeats. And similarly, when we have an automatic response, trigger, charge, or body sensation, often this is speaking to places that are trying to actually get your attention, right? And these places are the exact portal of entry to deepen our self-leadership. So let me begin by identifying some of the more common characteristics of a hyperachiever. Now, they tend to be very conscious of their competitive image, status, and will often adapt their personality to fit, mold to what would be more impressive to others. They are often covering up, insecurities and showing a positive image, and may have the tendency to be more focused on maybe perfecting their public image than introspection, because introspection wastes time. And this shows up when I do face splits with my clients. It can look like having really clear skin on the right side of their face, the public face, but having less clarity, more blemishes and such, right, on the left side of the face, which is their private face, right? And it can also show up like having someone's nose aligning more towards the right side of their face, or even having a division at the bottom of their chin, pointing out this tendency. There's a tendency to want to perform for the outside world, so to speak. And if you're wanting to dive into leading your authenticity and self leadership through your own mini face analysis experience, I have created a complimentary 5-part video series where you get walked step by step to experience your own face, doing your own face splits, and to really expand this inner self awareness on how this may be showing up for you and how you're relating in your inner and outer world. And so just click on the show notes below and it will be sent right to your inbox. And so moving on, some of the mindsets and thoughts that repeat consciously and unconsciously are I must be the best at what I do. I must be efficient and productive. There's a lot of this must energy, have to energy. I just need to focus on my mindset and just keep taking action and pushing forward. And I'm good enough as long as I am successful, right? And others think well of me. That measuring from what other people think about themselves. If I can't be outstanding, then I won't bother. What's the point? It's this need to be the best in a way that's a non negotiable. And it often looks like measuring self according to logical indicators, like your list of things to do, KPI, your numbers, how much you're giving to people in your community or network, or if things are going smoothly according to a preset plan. And often belief systems have been formed to hold our reality in place. And so some of the belief systems could sound like life is about achieving and producing results. Having a good public image helps others respect me and helps achieve results. Being successful is what is life all about. Or I am worthy mostly when I am successful, right? It may not be exact words you're saying to yourself, but at some level, some version of that may be playing out within you, right? Or feelings are just a distraction and don't help with anything. Feelings distract me from achieving my goals. So let's take a breath here. And what I want to say is that there's nothing wrong with the act of achieving something in itself, right? Challenging yourself to do things out of your comfort zone, experimenting, trying new things, going for things aligned to what matters to you. And these can be good things, right? However, it is truly not based on identifying the doing and the actions, the behaviors, as it is to look at the underlying energy it is created from. When it becomes a challenge is when we are unconsciously driven to achieve in order to fill a void or emotional wound. For myself, one of the ways this showed up for me is that I often struggled to allow myself to rest because the belief system I made from something my dad said to me, when I was in my younger years, is that my dad told me it was lazy to sleep in and that I should be helping out around the house more. And because my mom had left when I was a baby, I was terrified to lose my dad So for me, this morphed into waking up early, never sleeping in, being very productive right from the start of the day, being that high achiever at school, getting good marks, being liked by other people, right? And the list goes on. And I didn't realize it was a problem until I noticed that I was unconsciously needing to ask my own husband to give me permission before I could go rest or take a nap. He's like, yeah, of course you should go rest then, right? And that's exactly, I mean, the pattern that I was like, I needed to ask my grandma at that time when she raised me. I needed her to give me permission to rest, even when I was so exhausted. And so that pattern, those patterns were carrying over from childhood. And you see how different things were interlinked in many ways and piling one over another, right? From not feeling good enough to needing someone else to tell me I need to do things to, lazy to nap to what I made up within myself that I would be abandoned again if I didn't do that. It's emotional logic, but it's real and true. And it's very subconscious until we are willing to look at it. And for my husband, it's not like he's not letting me rest, but I was just looking for that permission. I didn't give myself that permission, right? And even when I started giving myself permission to rest, it was like I would lie down and I remember feeling that anxiety. So it's not often about, the knowing, the self-awareness and the behavior change. It's often at an emotional level that is still, the memory within our body is still being repeated. But it's not until I awoken from this pattern, right? And did my deeper inner emotional work until I was able to take my own power back. Up to then, I had this internal drive to do more, to achieve more, until someone gave me that permission to rest, until I felt like I did enough and got enough evidence in my external environment that, okay, that's good enough, right? And this can show up in so many different ways, right? But the connection here is this: the exact tendency of a hyperachiever, right? That not liking to dwell in the realm of emotions and feelings that feels like it's wasting time over being more productive is also the path to overcome this need to overachieve. It is actually through the emotional space that addresses that emotional void, to address that emotional wound, like in my story, right? And for many high achievers, it often is not clear until you feel that exhaustion, feeling fatigued, knowing you need to slow down, but you can't seem to maybe let yourself off the hook until you do all the things, right? It doesn't necessarily become clear until you pulled yourself off from your computer and you struggle to be present with your family, kids, the very people we tell ourselves why we're working so much, because you have not emotionally let go of the emotional attachment to needing to achieve the thing that you pulled yourself off the computer for. And when you finally can slow down and adjust to being more present and letting go, when you slow down and you're with your family, you realize how tired you actually are. Maybe you find yourself falling asleep on the couch. And some high achievers who have found a way to stay afloat with all the changes, right? And unconsciously learning to numb it out and then feeling this disconnection to their purpose, what they used to feel so much passion and joy and spark about, and not being able to really connect to that. And also over time, it affects their level of performance, self-leadership, their ability to expand to their next level of evolution and impact. And for some high achievers who have found a way to balance their day and the expectations, taking the strategies and actions that experts have highlighted. But somewhere on their journey, they feel this emptiness and unfulfillment, like something is missing, like doing the behavior change without addressing the deeper root cause. However, when I do the face analysis experience, the inner awakening experience, the authentic truth shows up. The way it shows up, it really tells me if someone, how much is actually affecting their physical features, but also their physical body. because it affects our physical features. If it's showing up in our body over time, it shows up like a physical challenge or a health challenge, so to speak. And it's truly important to be radically honest with yourself and ask yourself, right? Where do you find yourself on this self leadership journey, right? On this achieving journey, so to speak, right? If you need to pause the episode to really review and connect with some of the pieces I spoke about, please do so. And there truly is nothing wrong with challenging ourselves, right? Creating that impact, but we need to do it so that we can get that validation and recognition in a healthy way. And this is where we get to really be empowered to lead our energy versus letting things around us determine the shots and further affecting the underlying patterns of unworthiness, to really be consciously addressing our own needs, right? Because the underlying emotions are running the show when we are not aware of them and taking care of ourselves in this way. It feels like we are in control, but in reality, we are out of control and not truly in our self leadership and empowerment, right? Because sometimes, even when you feel empty and depressed inside, you may not be allowing yourself to linger there, right? And because our relationship to our own emotions directly impacts the level of vulnerability and intimacy, you lose touch with the deeper feelings, your deeper authentic self, and your ability to deeply connect with others, the people you love. And the amount of closeness we feel within our relationships and, the people we love are directly impacted, right? And this inner peace, happiness, fulfillment is often fleeting and short lived in the brief celebrations of achievement. Your ability to love and accept yourself is consistently conditioned to be determined by that next success or achievement. So, where do we go from here, right? I truly invite you to go back to identify any charge or reaction you may have experienced when listening to any part of this podcast. Again, that is when your body is trying to get your attention. And it may come up as anger, and it may come up as, oh, Tammy's full of shit. It may come up like, oh, wow, oh, that's resonating so deeply. Whatever that is, right? Don't let it be another fleeting moment in your life. Allow yourself to add that extra depth to yourself. Really allow yourself some space to create self reflection and identify how strongly you maybe identify with some of the belief systems and mindsets and the characteristics I had mentioned. And truly ask yourself, what is your current relationship with your emotions? And what is your relationship with leading your energy, right? Was there some event in your younger years that really jumped out at you, that instigated your need to achieve? And for now, when you catch yourself, right, in these patterns, ask yourself, how could I detach from the outcome and create a more loving and compassionate journey for myself? And how can I do that for the people I love around me? And how can you begin to measure your journey according to more internal indicators like your level of happiness, joy, pleasure, connection, and fulfillment you feel on the inside? What if you led life according to that? Now, if you find the emotional realm to be a bit of a maze for you and you're looking for someone to really hold you and support you with a compassionate, non judgmental space to really learn how to address the uncomfortable emotions and body sensations, right? Like, please reach out to me. I know that there's so many different areas to touch upon here, and I know it can be very confusing It can bring on a lot of self-doubt with all the good things you're doing as well. And yeah, I am here. I'm here to guide you towards and to deepen your authentic energy leadership and to really empower you in a way that honors you without neglecting you, and to create the next level of performance, of impact. I would love to hear your feedback on this episode. Please send me a message on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Let me know which parts resonated for you. Of course, message me to celebrate any insights and wins with me in any shifts and changes you experienced from listening to this. We are really meant to do this together and not alone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review so others can find the life-changing content that we're sharing here. We are starting our movement on our way to number 1, and we need your help to get there. If you'd like to connect with other high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders who are also on their authentic, energetic leadership journey, join our free Facebook community, Energetically Aligned Leaders. Go to pathtotheheart.com/links to join the Facebook group, book your personalized face analysis experience, or to access our resources.